So today we are moving right along into talking about the High Priestess, which is the third card in the Major Arcana, but technically card number 2, so you can see that here. The High Priestess in my deck, in the medieval Scapini deck, is actually called the Popess, and is depicted as a female pope, which is like really cool, though I googled it and it is widely regarded as a medieval urban legend, basically, that there was a female pope, Pope Joan. It's like not a real thing, but it is a cool legend, and I think that's like a fun thing to think about. If you are using the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, you will see a woman sitting in front of a veil or curtain covered in pomegranates, which, side note, I think I am going to make linoleum pomegranate block prints and make some curtains for my studio space because I think that would be awesome. But anyways, this veil represents the thin separation between this world and the next, the subconscious and the conscious mind. And it's just all about intuition. So that's a really big part of this whole card. So you can kind of see it back here. It's not the best, and like I said, this is definitely not the best deck to learn from, though here I am, so what do I know? So in art history, actually, you'll see a lot of this, but pomegranates are representative of abundance and fertility. So if you ever see pomegranates outside fancy houses and stuff, that is actually because pomegranates were used as a symbol to promote fertility and abundance and stuff, back in the day, when, having heirs was a really big thing. So, fun little art history fact. I went to art school, so I learn little tidbits about that. But like I said, they are representative of abundance and fertility, or the divine feminine of the High Priestess. She's usually winged by 2 pillars, and again, you can kind of see them here. There's 1 and 2, but it's easier to see in the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. And one is white usually, and one is black, and you'll see 2 letters on them. So one has J and one has B. B stands for Boaz, which means in his strength, and J stands for Jachin or Jachin, for he will establish. So in his strength, he will establish, which is a biblical thing. These pillars were thought to stand outside the Temple of Solomon, so that's very much a Judeo-Christian image, which I don't really vibe with, but that's kind of why I like this card, in that it doesn't necessarily have that. But she is dressed like a pope and is called the Popess, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. Pillars represent duality, so the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine, etc. She wears a crown. The High Priestess wears a crown as a symbol of her divine knowledge, and a crescent moon is at her feet to represent her link to the divine feminine and her link to the cycles of the moon. The menstrual cycle, we've talked about that, and I think it's a little bit of an outdated concept, but it still is pretty prevalent in a lot of pagan traditions and images. So, upright, the High Priestess represents intuition, the divine feminine, knowledge, subconscious, and psychic abilities, so really just trusting your intuition and going with your gut. When reversed, she can signal that there is hidden information, secrets that are being kept from you, being disconnected from your intuition and overthinking things too much, withdrawing into oneself and keeping silent on things that should be talked about. So I see the High Priestess as the archetypal wise woman, right? So that's kind of how I just perceive the energy of that card. She's a guide and a spiritual counselor. She's kind of the person that I am aiming to be in the next 5 to 10 years, I guess, or the energy that I want to exude. I just want to be the person that people come to and are just what? And I'm it's okay. Come here. Let me just go with your gut. It's fine. She's just very wise. And I know that wisdom comes with time, but it's definitely that I look forward to having in the future. I don't know. I talk to my mom a lot. My mom and I are best friends, and she's just a very wise lady. And it just gives me really great advice and is just logical about stuff, where she's just no, you're being an insane person. please stop. So I don't know that I'm there yet, but it's something that I do strive to have in the future. I have a lot of issues with the High Priestess card because I have a lot of problems trusting my intuition. I was basically gaslit for the first 20 years of my life, so it's really hard for me to tell if my gut is actually truthful. And every time I'm just I'm always the surprise Pikachu when I'm right, where I'm just what? I'm yeah, obviously, I do, my gut reaction is usually pretty spot on. All that being said, I am really trying to channel the High Priestess in learning to trust my intuition, especially with tarot readings, divination, and just my heart and following what I believe to be right. And I'm getting tired of not trusting myself, so I'm going to definitely be channeling a lot more of her energy in the future, and looking forward to kind of becoming that archetypal character. What is that what I mean? Not actually, but do you know what I mean? Channeling that. So that is what I have for the High Priestess for y'all today. Be sure to check out my Patreon, like I said, if you would like me to read your cards for you. It is linked in the description, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.